Welcome back to Runner and Son, episode 3. We have a special winter running episode today. I am Runner,
I'm Son.
and we are Runner and Son. Well, welcome back with us inside now. I had thought about doing the entire episode outside, but it's still in the teens. And even though there's a little bit of sunlight out there, it's still pretty cold. And if you're sitting for a while, it'll get to you. So we wanted to go over some winter running tips, some things that we've learned over the last couple of years, and share with you what it's like to run in Wisconsin, in Sheboygan in the winter. It's a little bit different. Some people watching might be from Arizona, California, places like that that rarely get extreme cold. So I thought this might be of interest, and to other winter runners as well. It could be interesting to see, what our strategies are for, keeping fit in the winter. So first of all, let's talk about gear a little bit. I have found that you really don't need expensive gear. We don't use it that much, so probably get away with some decent fleece line pants like this. It's nice to have something that blocks the wind too. These aren't great at that, but your legs stay so warm when running usually, and your feet, I found that isn't an issue. Have you had that?
No, yeah. Those pants are fine.
Okay. And then usually on top, have something like a couple of layers, under layer, long sleeves, and a jacket of some sort. So this is, once again, just a very simple fleece light jacket. I find that after about a mile, you start to warm up. So usually the ideal running clothes, unfortunately, means you're going to be a little bit cold the first mile.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before? And then you warm up and get a little bit more comfortable. If you start out too warm, you can sweat and you can get really cold later. So Alex, the other morning when we were running, we both had on a little too much, right?
Yeah.
And what do we have to do?
We had to take it and throw it into the bushes, like,
Yes.
before we even got to mile 1.
Yes. So about a quarter mile in, we both took our jackets off, stashed them in a bush, and continued our run. And sometimes you'll find that too, is you'll have to take a layer off. I find the zip up jacket I had is very nice because you can just zip it down a little bit or roll the sleeves up, take the hood off. So it's nice to be able to adjust when you're out on the road or out on the trail, and not have to abandon pieces of clothing all over the place. So
Yeah.
so a little bit more, talking about some of the critical points, really. So protecting ears, headband like this is really nice. It allows your head to breathe a little bit out the top, and I've found that it really blocks the wind. You don't need much. You just need something like this, even in really extreme cold. A hood over and something like this, I've found to be plenty.
I sometimes use a headband, but when it's really cold, I usually use the hat
Sure.
as well.
Yep. Sort of a beanie or something like that. When it's extremely cold, I like to have something like this, balaclava of some sort, ski mask, something that really protects your full face and just leaves a little bit of room for your eyes and your mouth. And you have something like that too, right?
Fleece gaiter, yeah.
Yeah. You can always pull that down a little bit if it gets hard to breathe. It's not the most pleasant thing to breathe through, but when it's extremely cold, it is pretty necessary.
And I found that the fleece gaiter is really efficient in warming you up, but like once you like breathe into it, all your breath is like stuck in the gaiter.
Right.
So that when you pull it down, it like freezes your neck because all of the
You don't want your gaiter freezing to your neck for
Yeah.
sure. And really, I think for me, the most critical piece of clothing, piece of equipment in the winter is the right gloves.
yes.
Your hands, especially mine, can get extremely cold. And having something like this, so these are actually my wife's. I'm getting a pair of my own because they're awesome. This is the only thing that we've paid a little bit of money for. These are Janji gloves. They're really nice. They're shockingly warm for how light and simple they are. And they have a feature where you can pull the sort of wind blocker off if you get a little bit warm. So something like that, spending a little bit of money on your hands and maybe your headband, I think is worth it. For even colder weather, I do have something like this. These are more like skiing or mountain biking gloves. This is for when it gets to single digits or below, which we've had a couple of runs this winter like that,
Yeah.
but it's not normal necessarily.
Mhm.
So,
And I mean, when you do have runs like that, because most of our runs around right now are teens or high single digits, but when it's like 20 below and we're running, it's really hard to tell what you need to wear
Yeah.
because it's only like 2 days out of the year.
right. So you rarely do it. And then when the day comes up, you're like, what did I wear last year when it was this terrible out? So the dressing in layers, being able to open up a jacket or take something off is really important, and just adjust while you're running. So another thing as well is if it's snowing out and if there's actually a decent amount of snow, it can be a little challenging. We haven't had too much slippery conditions, ice, things like that.
Yeah.
It can happen though.
They're pretty good at clearing the colder paths.
Yeah, the places around here, they clear a lot of the trails even pretty quickly.
Yeah.
They have a little snow machine that goes on there and clears them out. So we've had some snowy runs, but nothing too slippery. I do recommend, and Alex, I think you might have your trail shoes as well. If it's going to be pretty slippery, get something like, or if you already have trail shoes, I don't like the sort of strap-on spikes that some people have. I find those are really uncomfortable, hard to run in, and actually on flat surfaces that aren't slippery, those can be even slipperier. So I would prefer something like this that has lugs, used for trail running. Double's great for snow running as well. Gives you some traction, but you don't really want to run these on the road or they'll wear out the lugs pretty quickly. So we have had some really extreme runs this year as well. So last Friday I went out and I think it was a straight temperature of -10 and it was a wind chill of -38. So that was one day where I think the temperature had gotten down to -20 at night, straight temperature. That is extreme. I did a couple miles in that. It was not that pleasant. I did it just to do it. So I guess, Alex, what was your coldest run that you had this year so far?
I think it was the day after that.
Okay.
It was still kind of cold. I think it was like -1 wind chill. And I had to get all the gear out for that. And I stayed reasonably warm, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We've had a couple of runs where it's been single digits, maybe a little wind, but at the end we've said we actually was fairly comfortable. The wind can be pretty biting though, and really I much prefer a lower straight temperature than that wind. The wind just cuts through your clothes, and it's hard to guard against that unless you have additional gear, windbreakers, things like that. So
Yeah, I have a pretty good windbreaking sweatshirt.
yeah, yep. So you get to know it. You get to learn, what works, what doesn't. So every year when this comes around, we we're not able to run as much. So this last week, it's been, I don't know, every night has been negative, sometimes negative straight temperatures, always negative wind chill. During the day, it's been single digits. This has been a rough week. with some days extremely cold. So haven't gotten out to run that much. I think last week was twice, and maybe once was just
Yeah.
me.
We did twice this week.
Yeah. So we've been doing some other activities. You see the space around us. We'll do a little bit of a gym tour coming up here to show you some of the equipment we have and that we use. But this is in our basement. We're really blessed to have this space, to have the equipment where we can come inside here in the winter and do some other training. So we've been working on some strength training. Alex and I will be doing a little bit of that coming up. Working on legs, working on core, working on back, things that we'll need for these long runs. And you've been joining us, Mom and I as well, for some of our HIIT workouts as well, right? So we've been doing a number of high intensity interval training workouts with videos. We can all be down here. We can use different dumbbell weights for the videos and all do our own thing that works for us, right? So those have been great, and those actually give you a little bit of cardio, but I have noticed that my cardio has slipped from when it's been, warm and nice out. The last big run I've done was 3 weeks ago. That was 13 miles, which isn't that big. So the last 20-mile run I've done was early November, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
So we have some work to do.
We do.
Yeah, big goals coming up. As we talked about last episode, Alex has a marathon coming up. I have a 100-miler coming up. So as we start to warm up here, we gotta get going on cardio. We don't have a treadmill or anything like that, or a stationary bike. I don't really like a treadmill. I like to be outside, but weeks like this, you sort of wish you did. I don't know where we put it either. They take up a lot of space. But so at every winter, you'll see, if you look at I use Strava, so if you look at your Strava statistics, you have your big races in the fall, and then it just falls off.
Yeah.
Strava keeps sort of a tab on what it says your fitness level is. So right now we're sort of near the bottom. So as things warm up, we have some work to do to get back there. I'm going to be doing some cross-country skiing this afternoon. I think that's really great, but it's tough to do around here. There's only a couple days a year that it really works. So other things like that we'll do. Any other winter activities that you can think of to keep up strength or aerobic health?
I know there was one day where the roads were cleared enough that we could go biking. And it's
And
usually
how'd that turn out?
well, it's usually warmer because you're moving faster,
Yeah.
but there's like slush all over the roads, and then it started to freeze up while we were out. So on the way back, it was just all ice.
Yeah. And I believe everybody that was on the bike trip fell at one point.
Yes,
Yeah.
some
So
more than once.
so winter biking can be a little treacherous. It can be more treacherous than running, right? Because it's hard to see the ice, see a slippery patch, and then avoid it. You're moving fast.
And you're moving fast, and you have a longer way to fall
Yeah.
too.
Right. I feel like when you're running, you can sort of feel if you're getting slippery and you can get low, or you can slow down or avoid the slippery patch, but biking can be treacherous. So one other thing I wanted to mention was nutrition. I think it's easy. You have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, times of the year that aren't necessarily known for eating well.
Yeah.
Lots of candy and big meals. And so, like, eating good food is really important. So I think we'll do an episode on nutrition as well. It's something that I've started to really take much more seriously. And we'll talk about how to eat good food, how to eat on a budget with good food. I know that's hard to do. And how to maintain a decent diet during these winter months so you don't add those pounds and then have to work them off later. So we'll talk about that in its own episode. That about wraps it up for winter running. Alex, anything else that you wanted to discuss?
No, I think that's it.
All right, sounds good. Um, the next episode, we'll talk a little bit about the goals that we've announced and how we're going to get there. We have a race coming up in about 2 months, and that's why I was talking about building that aerobic capacity back up, because
Yeah.
that's not far off. We got some
Well,
work to do.
I mean, it's not really a race, but it'll still be.
It's called a run, but
We
it's going to
still
be,
still got a distance to
yeah.
go.
You have
15 miles.
15 miles, you got a 25K.
Mm.
I have a 50K. We'll meet along that trail. It's a really cool race. We'll go over that a little bit more in the next episode, but looking forward to that. It's in April in Wisconsin, so the weather is iffy, but we'll get into that a little bit more the next time. Please like and subscribe and comment below. I'd like to hear what your winter running experiences are as well. And happy you could join us. And thank you for watching the episode. We'll see you next time.